Oh, by Jingo. You are now tuned into the Going Off podcast. How y'all doing? You were just talking to me about something that you needed to bring up, and I had only heard like a little bit of it. Something about a cobra.
Well, that's only kind of important. Before we were recording, we were talking about making it as a content creator.
Trying to pave your own way, you know,
yes.
In the wild, wild west that is the internet.
And a name I hadn't thought of in a while. I randomly decided to look up and see what they were doing. People in the North Carolina area might know them more than other regions, but they did get some nationwide exposure there for a little bit.
Already I'm feeling shame.
The Holderness family. This guy, he was an anchor on one of like the local North Carolina news like local stations. I think he was either
sure.
Yeah, he was either a weatherman or news guy. I don't know. It's honestly not important. But he fucking quit his job one day and decided, I'm gonna stay at home and I'm gonna make the corniest parody song videos with my family, my wife and my kids. And they made a couple that like went super viral early on. And I think they were like Christmas songs. They did one about, I think it was a parody of Will Smith's Miami, but it was Christmas Jammies.
What?
Yeah, but,
Oh, my Christmas Jammies. Bienvenido Christmas Jammies.
Dude, you got it. It practically writes itself. So, I Googled them, and a video came up. And if anyone wants to look this up, they're free to. They did a parody song of Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi about a local news story. Again, I don't know how widely this got spread around, but someone who owned a cobra, it escaped from their house, and it created a fucking stir in the neighborhood, and everyone was scared, and they had to get out, and they fucking had to find it, and I'm pretty sure they fucking took it, because they were like, you're not supposed to have this, or some shit. Any kind of improv prompt for a parody song is good enough for the Holderness family, I guess. So yeah, that's what you heard before we were recording, was a snippet of the Living on a Prayer cover about a snake that you could tell was written in like 5 minutes.
Like they saw the news story and the song was written in 5 minutes.
But see, of course, it's very fitting that the embedded video is from Facebook, because this is Facebook content. There's a video called Die Hard is a Christmas Movie, because this is still an argument we're needing to have in 2021, I guess.
This? Yeah, what year on the internet was this? 2009? What?
Right. That was uploaded 2 days ago.
Oh my god, you've got to be kidding me. Yeah. I thought you was about to be like, oh yeah, these videos that they did a decade ago.
No. But they have another one that's called Keeping It Real This Christmas. That was uploaded a week ago. So they fucking put these up really quick. I don't know.
Grinding.
I don't know if they have someone who's editing it for them or what.
Oh, this is a fucking labor of love.
5 million combined subscribers and a total of 1 billion views.
Whoa.
They're a local family based out of Raleigh, North Carolina, consisting of husband and wife Penn and Kim Holderness and their daughter and son, who are very, very young and get forced into these fucking videos.
I was thinking some Daddy of Five shit, but I didn't want to say nothing. You know, I'm like... That feels too much, because that was a very extreme situation. But still, yeah, I don't like the general idea of like, oh, let's get the kids to... No, like...
I didn't realize I was this deep in the Holderness lore. They first found fame in 2013 when they released Christmas Jammies, a parody of Will Smith's Miami, meant to be their family's digital Christmas card. Overnight, their video went viral, gaining 15 million views in 1 week.
So they were like, oh, this wasn't supposed to that, and they're trying to strike while the iron's hot for the last couple of years.
Yeah, It says subsequent releases include a Halloween-themed Snoop parody called Kin and Moose.
I think I might have heard of this one.
What does that mean? What is that a reference
my
to?
family and... What are they, Canadian?
No, they're from Raleigh. A Meghan Trainor parody,
Oh, no.
which is like, what do you even do there? Like, isn't it
it's
already
the white,
Yeah.
white bread version of itself? Yeah, like
You got all about that based for Thanksgiving.
should have seen it coming.
They did a parody of Eminem's "Lose Yourself" that they didn't even say what it was because probably it was even too shitty to list in the Wikipedia article. And a parody of Dean
was it better
Martin's
than Without Meat? The all that parody.
In 2020, when COVID-19 hit, they made several viral parodies. Of course, they gotta
I'm sure.
capitalize on everything. They made several viral parodies, including skits, including a Hamilton medley about wearing a mask.
Well, at least they're on the right side of that debate there.
Yeah, there's a very good chance they could have went the other way.
Right? Oh my god. I've been talking to you, every now and then about, some celebrity that'll bring up, hey, I'm actually wearing a mask. And it's like, oh my god, thank you for just letting us know that you haven't had your brain melted by the internet, famous person.
Okay, hold on a second.
What?
Hold the fucking phone. They have released a new Christmas Jammies every holiday season?
Oh my god, you've got to be kidding me. Do they redo the music video? What? What are they doing?
What the fuck is this? Why? Hold on, X-Men? Oh, why am I looking this up?
Time. They're trying to make it the new fucking All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Oh, for fuck's... Oh, wait a second. Okay, it's Christmas Jammies, but it's not always a parody of the same song.
Oh, so that's the name they go with.
Yeah,
The Christmas Jammies series. Really? That song? It was only a kiss, really?
It's Mr. Brightside by the Killers, for everyone who's not familiar with this one. Coming out of this year, I know it's been kinda sad, 2020, yeah, it's historically bad, but it's Christmas time, so our last video, we celebrate all the things that didn't totally blow. Takeout got really good, more convenient for you. Now all of these really good restaurants all have drive-thrus. Oh my god! What the fuck?
Who needs this?
They're so forced!
Yeah. See,
These are way worse.
If you're not Weird Al, man, don't even try. Who was that one YouTuber guy? I can't even remember. They were
There's
the guys
so
who were
fucking
responsible
many.
for what?
There's so many.
Yeah,
Who can you
but the
possibly
main I
be talking
remember
about?
is The Key of Awesome. Yeah, it was.
Oh god.
And they started off doing the Obama Girl video or something
Obama
like that.
Girl. Yeah, I remember
And
that.
then they jumped from that to doing parodies of songs, and they were all bad. They were all just just making it was just sub Mad TV, where it was just they started off kind of making fun of the song, and then they just ended up making fun of the artist for weirder and more bizarre random shit.
That used to be a cheat code on YouTube, by the way, was to just make a parody song music video.
I remember.
That was almost guaranteed numbers.
And they would randomly have I'm Deadpool and I'm in this video too, or some random shit like that.
It's the same randomness that they do with fucking baby videos now, with fucking Spider-Man and Elsa and the Grinch.
Yeah, it's basically the proto version of that.
Just throw some random pop culture character in this video, and people are gonna go, what? Why is Bane celebrating Thanksgiving? I don't know. We've got a few things we actually wanted to talk about this week. This week's,
Oh, that's right.
might be a little overstuffed, if I can, it's still close enough to Thanksgiving, right? I hope so. Because I briefly want to talk about the Macy's Day Parade and a couple of the key performances.
I was actually hanging out with my family, and the TV was on, so I actually caught most or all of this. So I'm gonna actually know what you're talking about.
Luckily for me, it was streaming live on Peacock, so I was able to just watch it on there.
Oh no!
And conveniently enough, they also decided to stream the dog show afterwards. So,
yeah, that's what I saw. There was the dog show, and I was like, oh, I guess we're just watching dogs. I get not the worst television, I guess. Who doesn't want to look at dogs?
that's the yearly tradition. You watch the Macy's Day Parade, and then you watch the fucking dog show. You gotta stick around for the dog show.
Yeah, Best in Show, Christopher Guest movie. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, to open things off, and I'm gonna say this up front, I'm going to acknowledge, and I don't think this is a surprise to anybody, these are all lip-sync performances. Like, no one's actually singing live.
Oh, they were all lip-synced? Even the people doing the thing that wasn't on a... there was some, like, main stage where it was like...
I think so. I'm gonna say yes, but I might be wrong. The very first performance was from an upcoming NBC Live Annie special.
Yes, that's what I saw. Yeah.
And the girl that was playing Annie sounded fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I was like, oh my goodness, all right, she's doing pretty good. Yeah, I was like, I'm for it.
She sounded fucking incredible. I am not, however, here for Harry Connick Jr.'s bald.
I was just about to say, I was like,
cap.
Harry Connick Jr. pretending to be bald.
Oh god, that looked rough. I wasn't
you can't find a real bald man. What the fuck?
That should absolutely be like, I hate to typecast, but like you gotta hire a bald guy for that, right?
Here's how I think, right? If you're doing a local production, fine. Maybe you can't get a bald guy. You would get. If you're fucking New York, you can find a fucking bald guy.
You telling me you didn't see anyone? No one auditioned that didn't have a full head of hair? You're fucking kidding me. I don't believe that. I have to give a shout out. I have to! Because there were very few people that I was actually, like, wanting to see or waiting to see. When I started the show and they were doing the rundown of all the performers and they said Kim fucking Petras was performing, I was like, what? I had no idea that she was even gonna fucking be there.
Move aside, Nelly.
It really is a weird who's who, but we'll get to some of these. And Kim performed a very old song on a coach float. I thought that was fun. I gotta talk about your boy Andy Grammer.
Andy Grammer?
Andy Grammer had a song called Honey, I'm Good.
Oh, Lord. Oh, man.
Honey, I'm good.
Oh, that's so... The Facebook video, right? Like, from a couple of years ago.
Oh, God, it was a face... Oh, fuck.
Oh, everybody send in your videos of... Yeah, we could...
Did the Holderness family send in a video for the Andy Grammer music video? If they didn't, that's a huge missed opportunity. They had to have. Yeah, I forgot about that. It was like couples singing to each other because Neb and I parried it for a fucking review of this song. Oh, God, yeah. Oh, the video is so embarrassing and probably does not age well. Please don't anybody look up the Honey, I'm Good music video. It's going to be so bad. Because it's all like people at home doing lyrics, like lyric videos.
Yeah.
Holding up pieces of paper with the word. Oh, God. Anyway.
And wait, they're couples saying, hey, I'm good. I don't want to have sex with you because I have someone at home. Like, doesn't even make sense. The video should be all about being drunk in a bar and about to pick up a chick, and you pick up your phone like, nah, I'm good, I'm about to go. That's what the video should have been.
It's weird. In that same year, we got that, and also Cheerleader, which is basically the same thing.
Cheerleader? What was that one?
Cheerleader.
Was there a music video where they did that as well? Oh, it's the same sort of light, ooh, this is for, the couples on Facebook, like that type of song. Yeah.
Cheerleader was also a song where someone's trying to hit on the lead singer and he's turning them down. But the song Andy Grammer performed at the parade, Damn It Feels Good to Be Me.
I thought you were about to say, damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
If this was a live performance, I would give him some slack, I guess. But because it's the fucking album version of the song, it sounds so bad. I don't understand how they recorded it. It sounded like this, they approved it, and then thought, this is good enough for the fucking parade. We're gonna play this over a loudspeaker, and you have to act out these horrible things, like this horrible range, these noises you make. If no one's heard Damn It Feels Good to Be Me, which I wouldn't be surprised, at this point. I don't think anyone ran to Spotify after hearing it at the parade. Look that one up. The song is atrocious. There was an awkward one. Did you see Foreigner?
I think so, yes.
I want to know what love is with a child chorus. So you have a bunch of kids going, I want you to show. That was awkward. That was fucking weird. I didn't like that.
The thing that I was confused about was like, okay, so there would be times where it stopped and a performance happened. And I'm thinking like, okay, we're with the cameras. We're seeing the goods. We're seeing the jingle all the way, stop the thing to do a little action thing. But like, that was really suck for anyone 2 blocks away. And it's just like, I guess we're just going to be looking at these guys for a couple of minutes. Did you see the VR tech shit that they tried to do?
Oh, Jesus.
That was so embarrassing. Like
the fucking meta showcase.
Who cares? Facebook trying so hard to make their shit relevant. Like, see, guys, you can see extra floats. Ooh, and you see these 2 guys that get real close and then they take off in the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, they did. And initially, it was like Santa had to go, oh, I see him. There he goes. Oh, very embarrassing. But then, they did the Star Wars one, and then they had someone sitting on the sidelines, and they were wearing a Meta Facebook wireless VR headset, and you saw, like, what they were seeing. It was like this VR thing, and it was just a commercial for the headset that went for, like, a couple minutes. And it didn't even look interesting or engaging, so...
Yeah, it's like, who wants this? I can't wait to spend, $500 so I can see 2 extra floats that look fake as shit? Like, what? Money well spent.
You had messaged me saying that you had seen the AMAs.
Yeah.
We've got more stuff, folks. Can you believe it?
It's been even longer since that one, actually, hasn't it? So, is that the less relevant thing to talk? They were okay. They were all right. Cardi B was basically what brought it up to an all right. Just from her insane outfits, like the one with the huge feathers that were like basically in her face while she was trying to put the microphone close to her so she could speak. So I didn't
actually get to see any of Cardi's stuff. Was she hosting or something?
Oh yeah, she was hosting, and she was so crazy. There was one part where she was introducing who was it? Puerto Rican dude, I can't remember who it was, but she was like, yeah, this dude, and she had like this really flowy yellow thing on, and so when she announced him, like I almost like kind of couldn't hear what she was saying right at the end because she was just so like, she started waving her arms, and like a bunch of smoke just came out as the song started. I was like,
oh my god,
that's the energy of the intro you need. I want that. Shit. I want Cardi B as my opener.
Yeah, for real.
That's what hypes the fucking crowd.
No matter what you do, people are gonna be hyped.
I feel like I always notice with these award shows where like it feels like the mic's not working right, and it's like what the fuck is going on? Like, but yeah, I saw Tyler the Creator, and now for the raps, like usually, like maybe they just don't sound check. The raps is good enough, but like it's usually a problem. But I think he did relatively good with it, and also, I mean, because his voice is just deeper, so I think it's just kind of like a little harder for that to pick up, but I think for what it was worth relative to everything else, like I think he did a really good job. And also just his Jim Carrey-like movements as he, moves around and dances and shit. Like it's always,
I really did like his performance.
It's always a sight to see, and especially when he has the, it's like a really Christmassy look and feel, but like he's still got like the menace to him, and especially with the way the light like, flickers on and off. And he has those Stanley Kubrick eyes, while he was performing. You know what I'm talking about, right? Where you glower underneath your eyebrows, He
was doing a fucking Kubrick stare rapping for sure. That was fucking creepy.
Yeah, so I thought he was really cool. Especially
they always have the set pieces. It's like this time it was like in front of a house.
Right, yeah.
But only like the very front of the house was real. Like the rest of it was like a projection, I guess.
Yeah, I thought that was
And you saw
cool.
like this dude walking around in the background.
Yeah.
What's he doing? Who's that? It was like you could only see in the windows like the silhouette of someone, and they were just like walking around on the phone talking.
Yeah.
And I don't think they ever really acknowledged who that was or who that was supposed to be, but they're just kind of walking around, chilling.
Yeah. I like how it ended like all up in his face, as he was saying the final lyrics, like, I do this shit, all these beat breaks just so you can talk shit about it on your lunch break,
That's such a weird bar to end on, too. Yeah. Like, I don't ever really think I noticed how weird of a line that is to end on, or did it even end on that originally on the album?
It ended on that because it's that specific, like, yeah, it is like weirdly callous, you know. It's just like we're celebrating you, Tyler. You're the underground, you know, sensation. I think everyone likes you. Like, what?
I wish more songs did that. More just I don't give a fuck how this sounds. I'm mad.
Yeah,
you're gonna know I'm mad.
Yeah, I love the way he was like stretching his legs out and doing all those like motions and shit. And then especially at the end when he gets on the scooter and he just like kicks his leg out.
He's always on the move. I like that about his things. It's always like we're just seeing him on a stop on his world tour.
Right.
Hey, what are you doing tonight, Tyler? Well, for this one, I'm gonna stand out in the snow in front of this house, sing one song, and then you come drive me to my next location. Did you notice the audience was popping for the snow machine?
Yeah.
It was like spurting snow off the sides of the screen, and you heard people cheering for it. Like, can you just pay attention to Tyler and not the shitty snow machine? Again, the Grammys would have had a better snow machine.
Oh, for sure. It would have been a little thicker on that snow there, for sure.
Oh, yeah. It was just... Look shitty.
Shit, is that all you got?
What the fuck? We're low on snow juice, okay? This is the best we can do.
It's more shredded papers.
Just have it be a ticker tape.
BTS,
yeah.
Oh my god. The first performance they did with Coldplay that was such a dud. This obvious ass, like, we're doing this song because Coldplay is trying to be relevant, so I guess, and they paid us enough money, so I guess we're doing, like, that's so gives that energy.
That was the first performance from them?
Yeah.
Oh god, that was so awkward. I hated it.
And again, the fucking mics, which didn't sound good, and Coldplay, the Chris Martin or whoever, singing clearly under voice, like, or is that just how good he sings normally? Like,
it sounded so weird. His voice and the voices of the guys in BTS did not gel at all. It sounded really bad, actually. No. And yeah, I'm not a big BTS person anyway, honestly. I've honestly never understood it. They're just not for me.
I actually do enjoy a lot of music. Like, I'm not like, you know, plunged into the depths of it all the time, but like anytime I hear something, it's like, oh yeah, this is how, you know, if we still had boy bands, this is how competent they should probably be at this point. You know, I was thinking about specifically because of they had the Battle of Boston with with New Kids on the Block and New Edition, which, by the way, New Edition won. Yeah, and they were actually looking pretty fresh, at least New Edition. Like, they look like fucking straight-ass, like, 70s, like, style, flared-out pimps, like, when they went on the stage. I was like, oh, shit.
I think everyone looked and sounded okay. Better than fucking Chris Martin, for real. Like, that absolutely reeks of desperation of wanting to be relevant. Like, grabbing onto the coattails of BTS. But even Butter, I never really clicked with that song either.
No, like I like I said, I like their performances of it. Like, that's all. Like, the most popular songs seem to not be the best ones. Like, I guess that's just how it goes. But like, whenever I see them performing and like, you know, fucking doing the thing, having the coordinated suits, this is just like, I feel like it's like this is what we should be being spoiled with, like coordinated dudes coming together doing something. Like, what happened to this? Like, why are we not doing this? Like, why is there not more groups that like? Because look, we can talk about pop music too, but like, no. If you're gonna do pop, you need to be a fucking showman, right? Like, and that's what they're goddamn doing. You know, they're doing the performances, they're weaving in and out of each other with the dance moves. Like, that's competency as just a pop group. There was the one girl with, I thought this was the last one, but no, it was BTS. It's like Girls Like Us. The big girl kind of has the PM Dawn glasses. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, she fucking sang at the parade, too.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, she was there, too. She was looking all styled out. I thought that was really cool. My only
Zoe Wees.
Yeah. My only thing was, like, her hair is just so long, and it's, like, dragging all around her as she was walking, and I was just like, please don't fall. Like,
Oh,
this
man.
would be so embarrassing. But it's just like, and it didn't seem like she was like noticing it or like being aware of it and moving accordingly. It just seemed like she was just walking and the hair was just going all around, which is like it could have like gone right underneath her shoes and like, you know what I mean? I was just like the whole time all I'm doing is watching.
Anxious?
Yeah, all I'm doing was watching her feet. I was just like, please don't fall.
We got a couple album review requests this week. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that we should probably start with the Pretty Reckless.
Yeah, let's start with the Pretty Reckless, an album from this year, which I was like, hey, look at that, we're current. IBXCV. Yeah, I wasn't gonna guess that one. Thank you for requesting Death by Rock and Roll by the Pretty Reckless. A name I already like just off the riff. Like, we're pretty reckless.
Something I was unaware of, that the lead singer is the actress who played Cindy Lou Who in the Jim Carrey Grinch.
You've gotta be fucking kidding me.
No.
Holy shit. And yo, I don't give a damn what you say. I like that movie. Sorry. It's a Christmas staple for me. Sorry. And so is Jingle All the Way. Sorry. You just gonna have to call me a basic bitch. I love these.
Basic Christmas bitch.
Yes.
It's all good. It's fine.
But, oh my god, I loved that movie, and just knowing that just made me go just made my grin grow twice as big this day. I'm like, what? And Cindy Lou, you gotta be kidding me.
This album, for me...
yeah. Hit us with the Muse side.
No, it's just...
Stop it.
It just didn't hit me, man. Like...
Are you feeling like it's just like 2021? You try to bring it back, huh? You try to bring back the rock style. You try to
Look, I was unaware of this obviously because it was way before my time, but I was informed recently that in the mid '60s there was a big push for old style rock and roll sound. Like late 50s kind of sound. Like that. Yeah, like Chuck Berry, that kind of style. And we have clearly moved past that into like psychedelia, and the Beatles changed their sound too. But everybody was waiting for the big comeback. Like, oh, what's old rock and roll sound like? We got this album, which is what I was reminded of. It sounds like it's like late 70s, maybe up to mid 80s. Kind of hard rock for the most part,
but like in a way that's like really at least like has lyrics that kind of like are making it clear that is the point in a way, right? Where it's just like, this is the homage, especially with the first track, and was it the next to last track? And then I remembered, oh right, this was the woman who did the Heaven Knows track. You remember that one? Oh, the heaven knows we belong way down below, way down below. And look, I'll granted, I'll give you that. It's like, yeah, it's totally doing the throwback sound. But I'll be honest, when I was clicking through the radio and trying to hear what else is on the radio, hey, at least it was some fucking energy. You know what I mean? Like,
I do not remember that one, I don't think.
Yeah, it was, oh no, heaven knows we belong way down below. And then the kids choir comes in, oh no, heaven. Like she clearly does on another one of these tracks. So this is like, all right, that's your sound for that. Okay. But you know, I had a good enough time. I enjoyed myself.
This was I didn't dislike any of the songs on here. I just wasn't really, none of these really clicked.
It was feeling too pastiche-y.
Yeah, like not to the extent of like a Greta Van Fleet is kind of known for doing that. But
yeah, put some respect on her. She can sing, she can sing.
Yeah, for sure. I really do like her voice here. It just didn't always work with the music for me. Like either the energies weren't really the same, like on the same wavelength. Like sometimes she was singing way more subdued than the music was. Sometimes she was singing more energetic than the music was. Like they just weren't on the same plane. And I just thought the lyrics were kind of weak. Like there's a couple tracks that stand out. The one that got the highest rating from me. Actually, no. 3 songs that got the same rating. So the 3 highest ratings for me were Only Love Can Save Me.
Yeah, that was a joint.
And So It Went.
Yeah, with Tom Morello.
And My Bones. And so it went with the Tom Morello guitar solo was much needed. I thought that added. It was the ones that stood out and just had more of a unique sound, I guess. Like, I'll give you a really good example, okay? Do you remember Wolf Mother? It was like maybe 2006, 2007. They had that song, "Woman, woman, gonna be woman," and it just sounded like 70s hard rock, and it was like, yeah, okay, this is something.
Right.
But do you remember The Darkness?
Yes, because they had the "I believe in a thing called love, just into the middle of the heart." That one.
They also were doing like 70s sound, right?
Sure.
But they had a very unique approach to it that had individuality and character, that they didn't just sound like they were biting a style. They were taking it and they were honoring that sound and also bringing something entirely different to it.
With the other songs, they put the old 70s effect on the voice to make it just sound like that 70s song, right? Like you're saying. But with The Darkness, it sounded like a fresh version of it. Like, this is a part of the 80s maybe you hadn't even heard yet, like that sort of thing.
Right, yeah. But with this, it was like, I kind of got like Lita Ford, Kiss Me Deadly vibes from this, which isn't a bad thing. It's just...
And you know what it is? I think I appreciated it more because of the fact that, like, you really don't hear as many female vocalists just rocking over, rock shit, and she holds her own, you know what I mean? Like, vocally.
I do definitely appreciate it on that level. It's just a lot of the songs just don't really bring anything new. And for 2021, I would just kind of expect that, I guess.
Yeah. I did like how they played with the time a lot. I thought that was fun. When, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like people didn't do that. Well, like, as time goes on, people kind of like start using less and less complicated stuff. And as musicians, it's like, it's nice to hear them playing around and doing shit, but that you're still rocking. It doesn't just sound like, not to be too disparaging, but like, it doesn't just sound like math rock where it's just like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, like, it actually feels like they're like, you're feeling the groove, and then boom, we just fucked with you on there, and now we're about to bring it back. Like, that's the energy that's how I felt, right? For the tracks, when they would do shit like that was how I was able to still enjoy it, because it's like, oh yeah, no, not necessarily all the songs kind of like played with it to that extent, you know what I'm saying? So like, I was able to enjoy that a lot more, I felt.
I'm noticing, even with the songs that I said I liked, like, And So It Went, that ruined it for me at the end where it had that, like, kid chorus.
Yeah, like you said, you clearly tried to emulate the Down Below joint that she got big on.
Oh, it's very,
it sounded
Pink
the same,
Floyd.
Yeah. Right, we don't need no education, yeah.
And then also with My Bones, by the end, I just have written down, how did this track get so bland? The bridge really killed the momentum. There's a lot of songs on here where the song will just be rocking, and then the bridge will just be a very slow down. She's almost like singing way slower on the bridge. And it's just like, it was just hard for me to really feel this album. It was just so middle of the road for me. It feels like a real love letter to that sound,
right,
to that time. And we just did fucking Silk Sonic. It's kind of like that.
Right.
Actually.
I did my Billboard Top 100 we were going through. Yeah, there would be those moments where we're in, the early 80s or late 70s, and then all of a sudden it'll be like someone from the 60s has a hit song in, and it's just like, this clearly doesn't sound as good, and it doesn't have the same energy as when they did it in the 60s, but we're just allowing it because, what legends? We gotta have these guys.
We gotta make room. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we gotta show the respect.
Well, if they're doing new cool shit, maybe, like, David Bowie, like, he was always doing cool new shit, not to give too much away, but like, I feel like you are definitely the more, your ears have been rocked a little bit more, as my ears have been wrapped a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? And so I feel like to you, it probably comes off a lot more. So I guess that's what it is. It's like, if you have a more passing, like knowledge, relatively more passing knowledge with rock, I think you'll enjoy the pastiche of it a little bit more than, if you would like actually have gone in and you've already listened through like all of Led Zeppelin's discography and all these motherfuckers, and you're like, what's this though? Like, like, is this matching up to the gods? As she really is, bringing up a lot. Like, I enjoy the references for what they are, but I guess on your end, were you a little bit more feeling kind of like oh, okay, yeah, cool, of course you got to reference the Great Gig in the Sky, yeah, I know, like, on the rock and roll heaven, you got to mention Great Gig in the Sky.
Let's get to that one. I have written down for that one exactly what you'd expect from this and nothing more.
Right, yeah. So, okay, so for me, I enjoy the big, higher tempo songs, and whenever she takes it down is always when I was kind of like taken out of it. And I was feeling bad at first because I was like, is that just because like, shit is so high energy and intense that when it doesn't, I'm like, it doesn't work? Or am I just genuinely not enjoying these songs as much? And I really do think it's just something that just kind of like, it doesn't have the exact same drive, you know what I'm saying, as the type of down-tempo songs that she is emulating. But when it's higher tempo and they're doing the switches, I feel like for me there's enough stuff being thrown up in the air for me to enjoy it, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, when it's the slower tempo songs, it kind of becomes laid bare how much is like, okay, what about Really You? And when there's some of these lyrics that feel a little too... we should have already written this song 20 years ago, you know what I mean? Like, there was one lyric where the shit was just, like, so basic what the lyrics were. Was it Only Love Can Save Me Now?
I thought that was more interesting than the first track, and I like the guitar solo on it. There is something, too, I wanted to touch on that is from the Wikipedia article that it helps your view of the album, I guess, going in. It says in April 2018... the band's longtime producer was involved in a motorcycle accident.
I was like, oh,
and died later due to the injuries from the crash. Death comes up on a few tracks, like obviously the name of the album, Death by Rock and Roll, in the first cut. It kind of plays with that. If that's the mood you're going for, it doesn't really... It feels more like... Yeah, Death by Rock and Roll.
It definitely is. Your mileage may vary.
It was more snotty and bratty, and that's the mood I thought we were going for. But then by the time we get to songs like 25, which is a song about the the 27 club, right? Of like the musicians who died when they were 27, and now I guess at the time of the album, the singer was probably 25, and is like, will I make it past that number? And then later you got Rock and Roll Heaven. It's like...
So with the first song, it's very incendiary with how it's talking about like Death by Rock and Roll. I want to go with this shotgun blast. I want to go with the woman on her back. I was like, oh shit. Again, like a woman singing this shit just makes it that much more like, oh shit. Like, hey, like, oh, we're digging in. You know what I mean? And like, you know what it is? It's like, sure, it kind of feels Halloween costumey, right? Like putting on the
a little bit.
But hey, who doesn't enjoy Halloween? Like I enjoy dressing up. You know what I mean? Not everything. Because here's the thing: if you want to be really, 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 really real, most of those motherfuckers were like on cocaine and shit that they shouldn't have been on and doing awful shit. So it's like, do we really want to really emulate it? Like go all the way back to it? Like let's just have some fun with the trappings a little bit. Hey,
Yeah.
So like there's that level, but so it's like on a certain level, like the snottiness of the lyrics, right? It's saying like, hey, when I die, say it's death by rock and roll. Yeah, like I want to enjoy that because it's like, that is sort of the spirit of rock and roll, like being kind of like, being kind of like thumbing your nose at the idea, like, yeah, and I'm inviting the danger. I'm inviting it into my life. Like, that's what it's about. Right. It's about living real life. What the fuck? Let's do it. But yeah, there's that other level where you're like, because there's a part where she says, I want to go in a motorcycle crash, and it like specifically echoes like, and that was like right after I had the second time I had listened, I had seen that bit about how they died from a motorcycle crash. And yeah, I had the moment of like, this feels kind of awkward to like, it's like, I'm struggling on where there's like, is this them bleeding on the page for us? Or is this kind of being a little exploitative of like the idea of like, yeah, dying?
There were times, especially on the more vulnerable tracks, where I guess more emotion would have made the tracks feel more real. But they just kind of sang with the same kind of energy. And only sometimes does she kind of give you a little bit more of a guttural, like, really digging deep for it, but never do you really get, like she's singing about, like, am I going to live to this age, and looking back at all these things, but I didn't really get that feeling that you would have, like, that
you get
vulnerability.
That Johnny Cash feeling like, no, he's actually like thinking about his life.
Yeah, like I don't know. They just didn't go far enough, I guess. So the songs just kind of, most of them, ranged from dull to generic, is the feelings I got for most of them. And then to end on, which again, it's such a weird way to end on Harley Darling.
Yeah, it felt like Rock and Roll Heaven should have been the last one, right?
We end on this song, which again, context. We got these motorcycle sounds over it.
Again, yeah, after what we now know.
And it's just not a good song. Like, it's so forgettable.
Yeah, it's okay.
The Wikipedia article, right? Like, I'm just going to keep going back to it. They're talking about the producer, longtime producer, dying in the accident. That was the nail in the coffin for me. I threw my hands up in the air and just went, yeah, I give up. I went down a very dark rabbit hole of depression, substance abuse, and everything that comes with that. And it's like, that's horrible. And I hate that you had to go through all of that. Like, it's terrible. But it's not reflected on the album.
You think it's a little too clean?
It's way too clean. It's very sterile. I'm not one of these people who say, like, I want everyone to go through horrible life experiences because that's the only way. Like I don't want everyone to be on drugs because that's the only way they can write real music. You know, like I don't think it's like
Davie
that.
Brown,
but
no, come on, man. You can live a good life.
yeah, you don't have to do the method acting. You know,
No,
like
method
not everything. Okay, you know. I didn't say that.
Moving on.
But
tough crowd.
But yeah, it is way too clean. I think the album plays it very safe, and it's just forgettable for me. I ended up walking away with a 3.
I would give it 3.5. Like I said, like, you know, it's not like solid, but it's definitely like, you know, enjoyable enough. And like I said, the bland parts are what pull it down. But like I said, I think that they're very competent musicians. You know what I'm saying? I really enjoy the musicality of the song. So like, I gotta give it that. You know what I'm saying? There's 1 or 2 tracks on here. I actually want to, what was it? I did like 25. I had that moment where I was like, wait, was this gonna be a Bond song? This was gonna be a Bond song for No Time to Die, wasn't it? And they're like, no, it totally wasn't. I was like, sure it wasn't. Like, like this was going to be in the trailer all over it, you know, the serious song of the trailer, you know what I mean? Like, but I enjoyed it enough. Like, you know, like I said, I can be a basic bitch. Like, I like those songs sometimes, all right? Sometimes they do it right. But and then, what was the other one that I enjoyed? Witch's Burn. So like, yeah, I enjoy. I kind of like Broomsticks if it wasn't less than a minute and actually did something, because there were like
it was like an intro to Witch's Burn.
Yeah, and I was like, oh shit, okay, but we get this song though. But still, I wanted to hear more of that song though. But all right, well,
it was more interesting.
Yeah, I did like the lyrics in there. Excuse me, especially which is like, welcome back to the days of old where the men are men and the women are sold. I was like, oh shit. Oh yeah, I was like, but I'll do what you say. I'm learning to obey, down on my knees when you call me a dog, till I get close enough for a blade to stick it in. Then I'll spit on your grave. Like, come on, you gotta like that. You gotta love that reference. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, but then there would be tracks, you know, to speak to your point. Like, was it? Yeah, Got So High. That was the most trying to emulate the you know, the 70s rock, you know, knock knocking on him down. You know what I mean?
That might have been the worst song on the album. Was
the
Got So High.
So basic. Like, success showed something, at the same time nothing. I thought I got it, but it seems I've lost it. Like,
no.
Like, that's the whole verse. Like come on now.
Like, they got so much going for them that it's annoying when it just doesn't work. Like, vocalist, great. You've got very competent musicians. They got a great sound. It's just like, I wish y'all would just do something different.
Get
you know,
get
like,
your own specific voice. Yeah. Like,
yeah,
like I know that you're good, but like, what's the reason why I should listen to this album as opposed to just listening back to the old ones? Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it just didn't really give me much of a reason to.
I do want to give a quick shout out to Turning Gold, though. I thought that was actually like the highlight of the album for me, especially when you like, you know, for most of the time it's been like the rock band, and then you like randomly hear a little bit of soft pipe organ come in, and the way the music's like the way the text painting of the music. I mean, the way the music kind of like plays out, it kind of sounds like the person is turning gold with how it feels in the music, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, that's actually pretty cool. And then at the end when it has a little bit of sitar, like, kind of plays, like, I thought that was actually pretty fucking cool. And again, that was like that little hint of like, ooh, okay, you could be doing something a little bit more with the sound. Like, I hear it, you know? So yeah, definitely, you know, competent, dope-ass musicians, good singers, but yeah, you just kind of, you wish they didn't just Silk Sonic it. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
Oh God, I mean, we're verbalizing that now.
Moving on from there, Dr. Goatman heard us loud and clear.
You're loud and clear.
When we reviewed The Man Who Sold the World, and I think the album before that, I had said, if you just keep requesting the Bowie albums in order, we'll keep reviewing them. And they said, okay. And they went ahead and requested Hunky Dory, the follow-up to Man Who Sold the World, and the first album where Bowie really has that weird personality about him.
Oh, so this is the first... This is so, like... I listened to this album, and it had that one where I was like, oh man, this is so interesting. He's doing so much. This is so weird. What year was this? 71?
It's only 71.
I was like, what? You gotta be kidding me.
Going into this album, I remembered it more fondly for the songs I really, really like off of it. Because this album does have a couple of my all-time favorite Bowie cuts on it. But then I forget side B, where I forget the second side has two of the easily weakest cuts
Which
on the album. Andy Warhol and Song for Bob Dylan. Back to back, by the way.
Okay, yeah. No, you know, I appreciated the Andy Warhol song a little bit more, knowing about like Andy Warhol a bit, and like, and it's actually kind of funny. If we're just gonna get into it, because with that song specifically, it was like he made the song before he had met Andy Warhol as being like, oh man, I think you're so cool. I wrote this song about you, you know. But and when he actually met Andy Warhol, apparently Andy Warhol was like really dismissive of it, and he thought the song was really bad.
He didn't like the song.
Yeah, he was just like, and the thing about Andy Warhol is that like he is totally a douchebag. Like he
sucks.
Yeah, like,
Andy Warhol sucks shit. Yeah.
And so like he's like literally like in his real life he would do it frequently where he's like, oh yes, I'm using this person for this thing, and there I'm using it, and he would just get bored with them and just kind of move on to the next person. You know, like that was how he was as a person. It was like, that's just such a shitty, you know, way to live life. And so like it felt like, you know, reading about it was like David Bowie meeting him and going like, oh no, this guy sucks. But what's funny is that in the lyrics, it kind of sideways feels like it's actually kind of like pointing that out in a way where, you know, couldn't have been aware of, but kind of end up feeling like, right, like with the way he sings the lyrics, where he's like, like to take a cement fix, be a standing cinema, dress my friends up just for show, see them as they really are. You know, like, what is it? I'd like to be a gallery, put you all inside my show. Like the way that he's singing it feels like it's a little bit sneering, or it's just like, oh, this is just what I do. I'm playing puppets with my friends. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, maybe that's what Andy didn't like. I don't know. It was too real for him.
Fuck you. But the song for Bob Dylan was, the biggest disappointment, because it just felt like, oh, I thought it was going to be talking about like, oh man, you're speaking for the people doing all these things, but it's mostly about, like, the hook is specifically about his girlfriend that I believe had died like the year before, but it just feels like, but why? Like,
it's weird. The chorus was the part I liked the most, but then it's just like, you know, here's a song for Robert Zimmerman, and it's like, okay, how deep are we going to go with this? Like, yeah, are we going to be talking about specific Bob Dylan things, or why does it call it that?
Yeah.
But just having two songs back to back that present Bowie as like a fanboy for his contemporaries. I don't know. I just didn't really like that.
I mean, I find it kind of interesting in terms of like, wow, I consider David Bowie this untouchable guy, and yet here he has these people that he looks
That is interesting.
Like, yeah, it's kind of interesting to have that moment of like, oh, this was a real person, right? Like, they weren't just like a fucking rock god, you know?
But, man, the first side with Changes opening the album.
Yeah.
What do you even say about Changes?
It is like a dope ass track, and it was one of those things where like hearing it at first, I actually like was like the hook for it always kind of like felt like it was oddly mixed a little bit, like you know what I mean? Like it felt weirdly, I don't know, like it wasn't filling the sound. Something always just was just like throwing off about me. And then it was just like having the extra little, oh, this is 1971, like, oh, okay. You know, like for someone using a whole ass orchestra, like, yeah, maybe they didn't necessarily like have all of the tools to use it to the fullest extent. You know what I mean? But like the fact they're doing it this well is like really cool. And then there's a later on track, Kooks, where it really does feel like he's in the fucking groove, where it's like you can feel the lightness of the texture of the violin, where you're like, oh shit, like
this album fucking goes places.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, is the least you could ask for, but like, damn, like it really, compared to the last one specifically, which was like Bowie, and the most he was experimenting was like, he had a couple blues rock songs, and then there was like a couple songs that kind of sounded weird.
Yeah, a little
like there was the one that you quoted at the beginning with the Oh by Jimbo, and the one with the like, was that All the Madmen, where it was just like, it talks about his half brother, who actually, if the last song is about him, is really sad and tragic.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
But we'll get to that. This one, it's so many different sounds he's messing with, and each track is fucking different than the last. Like, they all stand out.
Yeah, in fact, it's like, Oh You Pretty Things is probably the most normal thing sound.
Yeah, probably.
Like, yeah. Oh You Pretty Things, and then you get the 8-line poem, which is just kind of cool, you know, it's just like a simple
It's an 8-line poem, all right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's for true.
And then you get Life on Mars, which just blasts you into the fucking stratosphere.
Life on Mars, if you pressed me to ask me what my favorite Bowie song was, I'd probably say Life on Mars.
Oh, it's just, every moment is so good.
It's at least top 3. Like, god damn, it's so good. But the other one comes later. Another one of my top 3 comes later on the second half. But Changes is untouchable, I think. Oh You Pretty Things is criminally underrated as a fucking track on here. I think it's so good. Bowie's commentary on
his lyrics,
pop culture at the time, and the youth is like, this is, well, you know what? It's so funny because the opening track on Black Parade, when we reviewed that, the MCR album, I said it reminded me of the opening track on Bowie's album Ziggy Stardust, 5 Years. It sounds a lot like it musically, but you listen to Oh You Pretty Things, it reminds me of Teenagers, where Bowie is just like talking about like, oh, you pretty things, you're driving your mamas and papas insane. Like, it's just this little older, like, not by much, but a little bit older guy, just like, you fucking kids are weird.
And he's got that like voice, like he's got this, like, I think David Bowie is more of a like a relatively high baritone, and I feel like his low, like, because when he digs in, and I think I hear it especially like on later singles that I've like, you know, heard over my life or whatever, where it's like you can, when you say run, I'll run with you. You know, when he digs into his, like, I feel like that's really where his richness is, and his higher part is like really like, it is light, but he knows how to use it, and it's like he knows how to put the effects on it that makes it like, you know what I'm saying, like puts you in that specific mode that he's trying to put you in. You know, let me make it plain, gotta make way for the Homo superior. Like, I cannot emulate. Like, it feels like I'm like only like the best I can do is sound like I'm making fun of it, but I'm so trying hard to mimic that exact timbre that he gets. That's so fascinating.
The fucking high note at the end of the chorus on Life on Mars.
Yeah.
Come on! He's all over the place.
We're talking about Life on Mars, the fucking lyrics. Oh my god. Sailors fighting in the dance hall. Oh man, look at that caveman go. It's the freakiest show. And then take a look at the lawman beating up the wrong guy. You're like, oh shit. Yo, Bowie, you motherfucker.
Then we fucking got Kooks. This is a standout track for real. So this is, Bowie wrote a song for his son.
Oh, so he's talking to his son saying like, oh, do you want to hang out with us weird people?
And if you ever have to go to school, remember how they messed up this old fool.
Yes!
Don't pick fights with the bullies or the cads, cause I'm not much cop for punching other people's dads. Can you fucking picture that? Fucking David Bowie getting in like, oh, you're picking on my son, and
This
David Bowie having to like pick a fight.
Come to fisticuffs with somebody.
Yeah, like what the fuck? This is and if the homework brings you down, we'll throw it on the fire and take the car downtown. It's like, man, this is really sweet. And just like picturing David Bowie as a dad is so fucking
David
like
Bowie's my dad.
it's so fucking cool, man. And I think Quicksand is a fine song too. It's not the catchiest on the record, but it has such a lush instrumental. The lyrics on the album do get kind of cryptic, especially on like Quicksand, I think is one of those.
Yeah, well, one lyric in particular where he says, I'm tethered to the logic of Homo sapien, can't take my eyes off from the great salvation of bullshit faith. Like, I was just like, ooh. I mean, not necessarily cryptic, but it was just kind of like, oh man, he'll just say some shit that's a little too real.
Yeah, I mean, like he brings up the fucking Homo Superior and the other song is Homo Sapien Now, and Genius was wondering whether or not he was going back to his, you remember on Man Who Sold the World, there were a couple songs where Bowie was trying to, what was it? He said, I was trying to write songs like I knew what Nietzsche meant. Like, I was trying to write like I understood his writings when I really didn't.
Ubermensch and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I think that might be coming through on a couple of these songs, too.
Yeah.
It's weird to picture, though, that Fill Your Heart is the first song on the second side. So this is the first song you hear when you flip the album over. And it's very uncharacteristic for a few reasons.
Yeah, it's such a weird, jaunty little tune. It's got
these jaunty little horns.
Yeah, the saxophone just ever so lightly playing around.
It's off-putting, almost, how optimistic his lyrics are, and it's like, you can hear his smile, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like, it sounds like he's singing with a smile, like, something's wrong.
Yeah. Feels like, is this propaganda? Like, you get that sort of feel, right? Like, and then the way he almost sounds like the freaking monarch from the Venture Brothers with the voice where he goes like, love will clean your mind and make you free. It sounds like the villain about to put you into the mind control thing, you know? Like, yes, everyone will be free when you buy my device, you know?
Honestly, the most interesting part of Andy Warhol is the beginning.
Yeah,
because it's got, like...
Which so feels like an Andy Warhol that, hey, we're actually just kind of talking. Is this conversation?
And it's, like, cutting the audio in weird ways, and you hear the cuts, and...
It's like, okay, I see what you're doing.
And you hear the producer, like, Andy Warhol. And Bowie goes, what'd you just say? And he goes, Warhol. And he goes, it's Warhol. Like holes. Andy Warhol.
What did he say?
Like holes. And I was like, why are you doing this fucking Stewie Griffin impression, Bowie? I don't know what you're doing here.
What was it? Is that what it was? It was trying to like, wait, what's happening? So he was trying to say it because I'm pretty sure it's Warhol.
But he was like, no, it's Warhol. Like holes.
God, British people always got to change the pronunciation of shit. You did it with Latin and you're doing it with American artist names.
And then there's just like silence, and you hear like people shuffling things around and they're like, are we going? Like, are we ready to go? Like, I thought that was interesting, and then the song is just kind of whatever. Like, I hate to say it, but like, after Quicksand, I'm skipping down to Queen Bitch, because Queen Bitch is so fucking good. I love Queen Bitch so much, and it makes me wish that Bowie wrote more, like, stories. It's sung from the point of view of, like, I don't know if it would be like drag queen. I'm up on the 11th floor and I'm watching the cruisers below. It's like, okay. He's down on the street and he's trying hard to pull Sister Flo. So yeah, there's someone down there.
Oh,
and
I see.
guess, yeah, with the cruisers looking, for some, oh, my heart's in the basement. Oh, my weekend's at an all-time low. But she's hoping to score, and I can't see her letting him go.
Yeah, because I feel like swishy is specifically used for, like, gaming, right? Like
that's like swishy, yeah. Oh, and she's known in the darkest of clubs for pushing ahead of the dames. So that's why I pictured, like...
I get you.
It's like a drag queen who's, like, more popular than, like the cis women. That's what I always got. And then it goes, but it could have been me! Yeah, it could have been me! Like, that's what's so fucking funny to me, is just this person being, like, looking down there and just being like, I could fucking pull that off. It's just this fucking character. Like, I can't think of another song where he does it like that, Like, where he's just putting on this character and this inner monologue is so fucking clever. It's so much fun. It's so jarring to end with the Bellway brothers.
Yeah, or is it Bewley Brothers?
Yeah, I guess it would be Bewley Brothers.
You know those British people. They gotta say it their way.
It ends super creepy.
Yeah, where
I'll say that.
like, in a voice that he has not done at any other point in the album, where he's like, where he goes super cockney, like, lie me place and bake me pie, I'm starving for me gravy. And like, there's like an extra doubling higher and lower voice that sounds really weird. It's so strange.
And it just happens, too.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't give you any warning that it's gonna do that.
Yeah, like, just for the day, please come away.
Man, if it weren't for spoilers, the next Bowie album, I would say this would be my favorite one. So, second overall, probably. In his entire discography, this is probably my second favorite album of his. Walked away with a 4.5.
Yeah, I got 4.5 as well. Yeah.
But that about wraps it up for this week's episode of Going Off. We want to give you a big thanks for spending your time with us this week. Follow us on our Twitters and YouTubes. We both have our own individual Ko-fis and Patreons, but if you want to request an album for us to talk about on this show, head on over to our joint Ko-fi, that is ko-fi.com/goinoff. That's GOINOFF. What do you got going on over on that side?
Well, of course, I got my Patreon, patreon.com/rapcritic, where you can join the Patreon and get to see episodes early, plus listen to the movie podcast that I do, the exclusive episodes, and join the Rap Critic Patreon, so that's always fun. And, of course, you can, on my Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/rapcritic specifically, you can request album streams. That's the new joint that's coming in. So yeah, you can request those. I just did the best of, RZA, but that was because the request that they did was kind of short. So I was like, all right, let me do something else. But they had requested Taking the Bangers, which was really fun. So yeah, that's where if you request an album stream or you request me to do a best of such and such artist, I'll compilate some of the, I'll dig through their discography, you know what I'm saying, and come up with like the joints where I'm like, yo, this is why you should listen to this person, you know what I mean? And then, of course, my movie review podcast, we have the Ko-fis going for that, where you can request a movie or you can request a music video for me to do. So, yeah, that's what's going on my end. Of course, you can follow me on the social medias, on Twitter and on Instagram.
You're doing a great public service, doing the sifting through the entire body of work and being like, these are the gems.
That's what I kind of did with Insane Cloud Posse at first, right? Where it's just like, world's worst band, all their songs are bad? Well, let me see,
I had actually done that, something very similar with Neb this past week, because we had watched the Beatles documentary, and they're not as aware of the Beatles catalog of work. So at the end of it, they were just like, hey, like, I'm interested in checking some of this out. Like, what are their best songs in your opinion? Like, what are your favorite songs? So I was like, okay. And just kind of went through, because there are definitely some artists, like, I mean, ICP, first album's like, what, 92?
Yeah.
And they still put out albums, like, as of this year. So it's like, that's a very daunting discography. And there are a lot of people who it's like, where the fuck do you even start with some of these people, you know? That's probably what turns off a lot of people from older music, is you just don't know where to start. It's like, okay, what's their best stuff? Where do I go? Like, not everyone has a fucking best of compilation you could just go to. And even then, those don't include all the best songs.
Exactly, guarantee, because that's just, what sold the most? Let's throw those together, you know? Like,
in my CD collection, I really try to make it a habit of not buying compilations, because they always leave off the songs you want. Because the end of the day isn't to make you not buy the other albums. Like, they force your hand to, like, well, if you want all of them, you're gonna have to buy the other CDs anyway. Like, we only put this out because the artist had a 5-album deal, and they only had a couple songs they put on this one. So it's like, it's like 9 songs I've heard before, and a couple new singles we're trying to push, and that's the only reason this whole CD exists. It's like, then why the fuck? But until next time, for Going Off, I'm Muse.
And I'm Rap Critic, and somebody gave me this telephone. I think it was Edie. Oh. Yeah, it was Edie, and she said I could talk to God with it, but I didn't have anything to say, so here.